Hey guys, welcome to episode 1. Today we're going to be talking about the case of Rocco Tassone. Make sure to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe down below for more videos like these. And let's get into this case. Rocco Tassone was 22 years old and lived in McKeesport, Pennsylvania with his sister and her 2 children. Rocco was in the Navy, and people who knew him described him as a really nice person, always smiling, and a very sweet, wonderful man. On July 23, 1986, Rocco went out to go to a party, but he never came home. After being at the party for a while, Rocco left the party with some friends in their truck. The following morning, an unidentified male had been found naked on the railroad tracks in this area. Rocco's family called the morgue and set out to identify the body. Unfortunately, it was Rocco. Rocco's body was found just after 3 a.m. when a train passing through Liberty Borough stopped to uncouple the cars and saw blood on the tracks. The conductor followed the trail of blood, probably expecting an animal of some sort. Following the trail about 300 feet away, Rocco Tassone's body was found. He was naked, wearing only his sneakers and his watch, with $30 hidden in his shoe. Rocco's cause of death was listed by officials as blunt force trauma, as well as suffering neck and spine fractures and amputation of his legs. Rocco's toxicology test reported that at the time his blood alcohol level was nearly double the legal limit. An investigation was launched and the evidence was strange to say the least. Rocco's clothes were never found according to police. There were 2 sets of shoe prints near where Rocco's body was found. Not only this, but 4 other teenagers in a pickup truck had gotten into an accident where they were crashed and overturned on River Road that same night, nearby the railroad where Rocco was found. This is the same pickup truck Rocco had left the party in. So how and why wasn't Rocco still in the pickup? The teens were taken to the hospital and the truck was searched. Police found clothing inside of the truck and were able to determine they did not belong to any of the teens in the accident, but they could not determine whether the clothes had belonged to Rocco. Supposedly, they did not test for evidence or try and link the clothing to Rocco. According to Rocco's family, police would not let them see the clothes to identify whether they were Rocco's or not. Supposedly, a chief of police from another area with no jurisdiction showed up to the riverbank to look for clues and had found and taken some bloody socks assumed to belong to Rocco. Police theorized a couple different scenarios on what might have happened. First, they said he was jumping the train to go and see the Moody Blues concert, which at the time was already over. Second, he was on the bridge and the train had sucked him under. Or thirdly, that he had committed suicide. But none of these theories explain the footprints, how or why he wasn't still in the pickup truck, or where his clothes were. If he had taken his clothes off while drunk, I'm sure they'd be easier to find. So, whose clothes were in the teen's pickup truck, if not their own? Soon, multiple people came forward with their account of what they saw, and multiple stories lined up. Rocco had left a party with some people in the truck. Earlier in the night, Rocco had been flirting with a girl who happened to be in a relationship with one of the guys in the truck that Rocco left in. Some had seen them all leave. Of course, if Rocco is extremely drunk, he may not have realized what he'd done, or even knew the situation he was in when he left with them. Other witnesses say they had seen the man in that truck beating Rocco to death, taking his clothes, and then placing him on the railroad tracks, in hopes that a train would be to blame. Lastly, after rumors were floating around town, his family said the teens had taken Rocco to the river, tied him to a tree naked, and beat him with a baseball bat until he was badly injured, and then laid him on the tracks waiting for the train to come. And at the time, this was local knowledge. Everyone had thought this. The boyfriend of the girl Rocco was flirting with at the party had supposedly left on foot, as he was also not in the truck when it crashed, which would explain the footprints they had found on the scene. Although all these stories could be true, there is a big twist to what seemed to have followed. This boyfriend was not just this girl's boyfriend. He was the son of the chief of police. There was a short investigation and then the case was closed, before Rocco had even had a funeral. Rocco's case has been labelled as undetermined by officials, and his case has been cold since. Although we can only theorize from the evidence we have, it seems pretty clear what really happened that night. And it also seems they had more than enough evidence to determine what truly happened to Rocco. Rocco's family have made multiple attempts to reopen the case, to look at the evidence, to have a Freedom of Information request accepted, but every time it's been declined or just swept under the rug or ignored. The people that know what happened to Rocco and the people who were involved are still out there walking free, and although it is labelled as undetermined, this case looks like murder that has been covered up for years. His family still hopes for justice and have not given up trying to share his story. We can all wish and hope one day that Rocco and his family will get the justice they deserve. Here are some photos of Rocco. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe down below for more videos like these, and I will see you in the next one.